CES always has a bunch of interesting technology. Now, all of the robots and stuff are pretty cool, but none of them are like giant mechas I can pilot. Now, if they ever make that a thing, I will spend my entire life savings on one, okay? But this year, the most interesting and most competitive category are the PC handhelds. Now, last video I talked about Lenovo's new offerings, namely the Legion Go S and the Legion Go 2. There's a lot more coverage, especially from content creators like Retro Gamecore. One of the more interesting revelations is that the Legion Go 2 controllers can actually be bought and then placed on your original Legion Go. Now, to be fair, I'm not sure anyone would want to do that instead of just, I don't know, buying a Legion Go 2, but it is an option. That's pretty cool, I guess. But aside from that, not a whole lot of new information. But Lenovo aren't the only ones showing off PC handhelds. So now it's time to talk about everyone else and a bunch of handheld news. And if you like this video or any other video I've made, please like, subscribe, and share with all of your friends. And check out my podcast, Off the Console. It's a cool new podcast where we talk about video games, technology, multimedia, and all sorts of other cool nerd stuff. You can find full episodes on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube, with YouTube having exclusive short clips as well. It seems like we'll be getting a general purpose release of SteamOS, finally. So in addition to announcing the Legion Go S, Valve made their own announcement on their own website. They're talking about the Legion Go S and how it's powered by SteamOS, which is cool, but what's even cooler is that they said this. In addition, the same work that we are doing to support the Legion Go S will improve compatibility with other handhelds. Ahead of Legion Go S shipping, we will be shipping a beta of SteamOS, which should improve the experience on other handhelds, and users can download and test this themselves. And of course, we'll continue adding support and improving the experience with future releases. So for reference, the Legion Go S with SteamOS is releasing sometime in May of this year, which essentially means Valve is going to release a version of SteamOS sometime the next couple of months, like the next 4 or 5 months, maybe even 3 months, I don't know. What is interesting though is how will this affect Bazite, because as it stands right now, Bazite is the best operating system to download that isn't Windows, because, currently SteamOS doesn't really work that well on other devices. But who knows, maybe SteamOS will be the operating system you need. While the Legion Go S made waves for being one of the first PC handhelds to run SteamOS that isn't the Steam Deck itself, Microsoft has plans to improve the Windows experience on PC handhelds. The single biggest hindrance for a lot of PC handhelds that aren't the Steam Deck is the OS. Windows is a pretty okay operating system for keyboard and mouse, but for navigating things with a controller, good luck with that. And yes, while you could use various different UIs, such as Play Night or even Steam Big Picture mode, the experience still isn't going to be the same. It doesn't feel very consoleized, and it never hides the fact that you're running on Windows, whereas with SteamOS, if I just showed some random person on the street my Steam Deck playing a game, then they wouldn't think differently. They wouldn't think that, oh, this is a gaming PC. No, they would probably think it's a console, and that's the main goal. And as you know, Microsoft is supposedly working on an Xbox handheld. Now, Microsoft is the only company that's never made a handheld. Nintendo's made a handheld, and heck, even Sony's made a handheld, even if, the PS Vita ultimately did fail. They say it's bringing the best of both Xbox and Windows together. Now, when they say bringing the best of both Xbox and Windows together, it makes me think that maybe they're going to give us Windows, but with an Xbox interface. Like the benefit of having a UI that works well with the controller and can basically control your entire operating system, and the openness of just installing whatever you want on Windows, because, that's kind of what you can do right now with Windows. And you know what? Microsoft really needs to do this, because my recommendation for any PC handheld that isn't a Steam Deck is to just install Bazite on it. Like your ROG Ally X, I've installed Bazite on mine and I've never looked back. Bazite is just that good of an operating system. Given that Microsoft actually makes a console that's about as locked down as every other console out there, there's no telling whether or not Microsoft will actually open this up. They allow you to play your copies of games from Steam, or say, I don't know, the Epic Game Store or something like that. It's cool for people that own Xbox games, but to be honest, I own a lot more games on PC now than I do on Xbox. So it's not really my forte. It would kind of suck if I bought this and I couldn't play any of my Steam games, But hey, I guess that's kind of the nature of the beast, right? It's a new handheld, right? Now, GPD themselves were not at CES this year, but they released a new handheld right before them. And I mean, it's a GPD Win Mini. That thing looks awesome. I kind of want one because it goes in my pocket very easily and I can like whip it out whenever I want. It's more or less the same device that was released earlier last year, but it's got some improvements. Notably, the CPU got an improvement. And you can see this chart, they compared to the ROG Ally X. And they say it's better than the ROG Ally X in every capacity. It's much faster and it's also much lighter too. But it seems like they forgot to mention the battery life because, I mean, that's the main reason people are getting an ROG Ally X, because the battery is just that much better. But this device is also that much lighter and smaller overall, so you can actually put it in your pocket. And it's a clamshell too. Clamshells are really nice. It almost looks like a big 3DS. It also has a keyboard as well, which is good for like typing your passwords. And it, I guess, makes Windows a little more navigable, but I mean, it really depends. I really want to try out one of these and like, I don't know, play some games on it, do some battery testing, you know the deal. I want to do all of that. Also worth mentioning is that they must have removed this, but they did mention official SteamOS support from Valve. But then Valve talked to The Verge and said that they aren't working with GPD in an official capacity, so I don't know what's going on. But hey, you could just install Bazot on it, or hey, you could just wait till SteamOS releases in beta and then download and install that on your GPD Win Mini. I mean, I think that's going to be my plan. Another new clamshell handheld is on the way too, the 1X Player G1. There's a lot of different versions of this device, but I am going to say that you can either get it in Intel or AMD flavors. Now, I don't really know how pocketable this is compared to, say, I don't know, the GPD Win Mini. Like, I know I could put that in my pocket because I've seen people do it. But this, I have no idea. It kind of looks bigger, you know? So it looks like a GPD Win Mini. It's even got the bottom keyboard as well. And, you know, your full complement of Xbox controls. But if you want to turn it into a laptop instead, you can slap like a keyboard on top of that. And then it kind of just looks like a laptop. A really small one though. I've talked about using my Legion Go as a sort of laptop, but that doesn't even have a keyboard built in. But this one, however, does. So like, this should be my new literal laptop. No brainer, right? Well, I don't know, man. We'll figure it out. The top-end model features the same APU as the GPD Win Mini. I am curious to see which one of these would be better with Bazite, the GPD Win Mini or this thing. I also should mention this, but neither this nor the GPD Win Mini have OLED panels. And unfortunately for both GPD and 1X, my brain chemistry's been altered permanently. I can't live without OLED anymore. And one more honorable mention is the Zotac Zen. You know, didn't this just come out, the Zotac Zen, like a few months ago? Are they pulling an Ion Neo where they release a handheld and then 3 months later announce a new one that's better in almost every facet? Like, that's kind of crazy, isn't it? I feel kind of bad for people that bought the Zotac Zen. But I also don't know anyone that has one outside of like content creators that review PC handhelds to begin with, so I guess I don't feel that. This here does have an OLED panel, the same one they used for the last model, which, I mean, it's a pretty good display from what I've seen. There really aren't too many changes, but there is one pet peeve of mine that I really have to address. The trackpads. Most reviewers I see don't even talk about the trackpads, much less talk about how the trackpads don't really function like the Steam Deck's trackpads. Like, it's got 2 trackpads, but what's the point of having 2 trackpads if you can't use it with Steam input to do things? This is just the Ionia Kun all over again. What's the point of having 2 trackpads, one on the left and one on the right, if you can't configure them to do whatever you want it to do in Steam input? Without Steam input and the ability to customize the trackpads to do whatever you want, the trackpads on this device wouldn't be that interesting. Heck, the Steam Deck's trackpads wouldn't be that interesting without Steam input, okay? The PC handheld arms race continues, and this time, operating systems have gotten involved. No longer is it just Microsoft versus the Steam Deck. It's Windows handhelds versus SteamOS handhelds, and with a beta release of SteamOS coming, it's only a matter of time. Time for the year of the Linux desktops, supposedly. And also, I kind of just want to look at some of the robots they have at CES. Who knows? Maybe one day we'll get a giant Gundam I can pilot, because that would be cool. If you like this video, please press the like button and check out our other videos, and if you like those other videos as well, be sure to press the subscribe button and share the good gospel of high-tech lowlife with your friends. Furthermore, we have a community Discord for enlightened individuals such as you. And if you wish to further support high-tech lowlife, be sure to check out our Patreon page. Links in the description.